Falling in love is something that happens to us.
Henry.
Being in love, still more remaining permanently in love, is something we do. No passion is self-preservative. The promise of permanence which Eros makes can be kept, but it isn't Eros of himself who can keep it. Yet the transcendental quality in his voice, our feeling when in love that this condition should and must be everlasting, is not wholly a deception. What it really signifies is the immense value, and in its possible developments, the really otherworldly and spiritual value of the change which falling in love works upon us. In a moment it has made appetite itself altruistic, tossed personal happiness aside as a triviality, and planted the interests of another in the centre of our own being. At one bound it has overleaped the high wall of our selfhood. We find ourselves, as regards one other person, really fulfilling the law, really loving another as ourselves. But having done this, the mere feeling will do no more. Eros has now done his stuff. He will not extend this selflessness to others besides the beloved. He may do quite the opposite. He will not even perpetuate it towards her. He will not of himself, even in that relationship, remain the sort of love he promised to be. He may not remain any sort of love at all. He may simply die. For, of course, as we all really know, mere spontaneous feeling will not keep any pair in love even for a few months or weeks. The passion in its total and selfless commitment is intermittent, recurrent. My point isn't that these dangers can't be averted. They are averted daily by thousands of couples, but they're not averted by Eros himself. The lovers who idolized him, who trusted all to the strength of their original emotion, will fare the worst. If love is to remain, and to remain himself, he must be supported by outside help. And this everyone knows. You need a bit of common sense, they say, or some give and take, or a sense of humor. Yes, but in clearer language, you need a firm will to justice. You need a will already pretty well trained and disciplined. In the long run, you need the grace of God. And in this, Eros is like all the natural loves. They have not within themselves resources to secure their own permanence, or to keep themselves from internal corruptions, nor to be innocent in dealing with those outside the circle of love. To say that they all need correction by higher powers in us, and by a power higher than we, though true, is not perhaps the best way of putting it. This suggests that it is always, as it is sometimes, our duty to renounce or diminish them. I should rather say they need the help of higher powers in order to become and remain themselves. The more we trust them to be self-sufficing, self-corrective, and self-perpetuating, the more deceived we shall be. It's rather like a garden. A garden is a glorious thing full of life and giving us life. But you must not trust your garden to weed itself or fence itself or prune itself or anything of that sort. It hasn't got that kind of goodness. A garden left to nature will soon not be a garden. It's the same with our passions. They also are life-giving. But when God planted that garden of our passions, he set a man over it to dress it, and set the man under himself.